What's up guys, welcome back. This is anime fiction. You'll be watching What If Naruto Was Killed by an Anbu, Becoming a Hollow Part 3. Now, let's begin. Naruto approached Cheruchi and positioned himself in a squat before her. As the winner, I hold the authority to determine your future. What if I choose not to engage with your fascination with death? Cheruchi's expression shifted to one of horror as despair enveloped her. I am earnestly requesting that you consider ending my life and disfiguring my remains. I prefer not to find myself in his research facility. Cheruchi, visibly distressed and vulnerable, earnestly requested him to alleviate her suffering. She had relinquished any expectation of leaving this location after her mission's failure and the damage to her Zanpakuto. Baragan would pursue her relentlessly should she manage to leave this location unscathed. If she were discovered deceased with her body intact, Shiyeleporo would conduct unethical experiments on her. Naruto extended his hand and gently stroked her head with care. I will not cause you harm. However, I will present you with an option. I am determined to confront Baragan for his attempts to infringe upon my freedom. I understand that you do not have any affection for him, either. Could you assist me in removing him from power? Overcoming Baragan with his present capabilities was merely an unrealistic aspiration. However, he needed to initiate his efforts if he aimed to eliminate the tyrant intent on usurping his freedom in Hueco Mundo. Anyone who seeks to restrict another's freedom will face consequences. Cheruchi's eyes widened in disbelief, clearly unprepared for the proposition of choosing between life and certain demise. She carefully considered her choices. Return to Las Noches and face the consequences of her failure in Shiyeleporo's laboratory, or ally with Naruto to confront the tyrant who had compelled her into submission. The decision should be clear to anyone exercising sound judgment. I will take the necessary steps to ensure the project is completed efficiently and effectively. I will confront Baragan and his misguided followers. Assistance is needed. Naruto gazed into her eyes with a depth that suggested he was searching her very soul. Cheruchi maintained his composure under the stern gaze, displaying a determined expression. Welcome to the club, Miss Goth. He offered a smile. Please remain steady. I will ensure you are taken to a secure location. Elevating his fifth companion in Hueco Mundo with care, he ascended through the sky, his wings guiding them toward his cave. You are noticeably substantial in this form. Her wings and tail added a notable degree of weight to her curvaceous figure. I possess protective gear discreetly hidden beneath my undergarments. It is illogical for a woman to don armor in that situation. Cheruchi's graceful fingers wrapped around his neck, her violet lips forming a subtle smile. The severity of hollows is often underestimated. They will employ any strategy necessary to achieve victory. Targeting your opponent's genital area can be a highly effective strategy. Your speed was impressive. Otherwise, I would have certainly outperformed you. Naruto experienced an involuntary shudder. He had nearly experienced the loss of his penis in his prior existence. The absence of shame displayed by hollows in resorting to such a brutal measure was a cause for concern. You all are behaving in a very unruly manner. All hollows are. They conversed and shared laughter as if they had not been engaged in a life and death struggle moments earlier. Upon entering the cave, he meticulously positioned her against the rugged walls. Concentrate on your recovery. I will address the matter with Dordoni. Please refrain from lingering here. Her voice, just above a whisper, conveyed a sense of urgency. Baragan is set to uncover. Her words faded as she fell into unconsciousness again. Naruto departed from Cheruchi to recover and joined Haribel, who observed the intense battle taking place before them with keen focus. Dordoni released his avian-headed tornadoes and launched a colossal variant of them. The tornado advanced towards Mila Rose, its opening vast as if it sought to engulf her entirely. Not today, Mila Rose replied, her voice filled with unwavering resolve. With a firm grip on her broadsword, she executed a sweeping arc through the air, her golden hair flowing dramatically. Her formidable attack sliced through the cyclone, causing it to dissipate. Mila Rose descended to the ground, her heavy breaths indicating her fatigue. Despite the cuts that marred her toned form, Dordoni seemed significantly more injured. The hollow plate on his forehead was partially shattered, with blood streaming down his face like crimson tears. One of the shoulder spikes had broken off completely at its base. Had it not been for the enhancement of his hierro through his resurrection ability, he would have faced his end. His defense was highly questionable. Mila rose, with her sword lowered, extended her palm to summon a pulsating orb of orange energy. She advanced Sero with a decisive and forceful punch. "Please accept my Sero." The intense orange beam advanced towards Dordoni, who responded with a sequence of precise hand gestures, ultimately creating a pentagon shape with his fingers. A vibrant Sero emerged from within the pentagon, striking Mila Rose's Sero with force. The forceful impact propelled Dordoni through the air, yet he regained his composure with the assistance of his tornado. As he skillfully deflected yet another Sero from Mila Rose, he noted that his Reiatsu had considerably diminished since the initial release. Naruto was taken aback by Mila Rose's ability to bring Dordoni to such a low point. However, this Dordoni had not yet acquired any power from Aizen's Hogyoku. "Harabel, what additional information should I be aware of?" Harabel provided a detailed account of the events to Naruto. Dordoni's hierro was certainly noteworthy, however, he could not overlook the formidable Sero unleashed by powerful Ijukas like Apache and Sung Sun. Mila Rose took advantage of the situation, utilizing her own Sero blast while he was compelled to depend on his tornadoes for defense. Just a month earlier, the trio would have presented no challenge to Dordoni. Nonetheless, Naruto's inherent skill, Crumbling Heart, enhanced their capabilities to the highest level of Ijukas. Dordoni, as an Ijuka's Arrancar, encountered significant difficulty in causing harm to a strength-focused Arrancar such as Mila Rose. "Excellent collaboration," he remarked. "Could you please inform me of their location?" Harabel directed a concerned gaze toward the opposite direction. He observed the deer and snake resting on the sidelines, seemingly uninjured. "It appears that energy levels are depleted." Harabel acknowledged with a nod. "They fulfilled their responsibilities. I would like to know if you are dissatisfied with my decision regarding Cheruchi." Harabel's eyes glimmered with a range of emotions as she signaled toward Dordoni with her sword arm. "We will address the Arrancar following our engagement with him. I have additional matters to discuss," he whispered, formulating ways to articulate his journey to the Soul Society. "This is frustrating." Rather than dwelling on every detail, he spread his wings and moved towards Dordoni. A subtle smirk appeared on Dordoni's face. "Niño, you have arrived at last." Naruto overlooked Dordoni and turned his attention to Mila Rose, casting a glance over his shoulder. "Thank you for your efforts in persuading him, kitten. I will assume responsibility from this point onward. Please refrain from calling me kitten." Skull face. Skull face. Is that intended as an insult? Mila Rose nonchalantly shrugged and ascended toward Harabel. Following a discussion, Mila Rose lifted Sung Sun and Apache onto her shoulders and transported them to their base. Harabel observed with keen focus as Naruto readied himself to engage in combat with another Arrancar. She felt a strong urge to intervene in the fight, yet she was unable to act contrary to Naruto's wishes. Naruto displayed his strength by flexing his arms. The enhancement of his muscles through oppression was still evident and would persist until he employed oppression once more to reduce the density of his muscles. He directed his gaze towards Dordoni. What will be Baragan's response upon receiving today's report? Contingent upon his emotional state, in an optimal situation, he dispatches additional Arrancar. In the most unfavorable outcome, he dispatches additional Arrancar. Excuse me. What are the distinctions between the optimal and least favorable scenarios? The directives he issues to Arrancars. Dordoni smiled with satisfaction. It may be best to avoid discussing the most challenging orders. I will refrain from making the request. We shall commence. I was just about to express the same sentiment, Niño. Naruto advanced with determination. Dordoni unleashed a powerful roar, and his Reiatsu surged to almost its maximum capacity. Additional tornadoes manifested from his armor components, each featuring bird heads affixed to their tips. Dordoni executed kicks and punches from a distance. The avian-headed wind entities emulated his actions and attacked Naruto. The force of the assault propelled Naruto downward. Utilizing his wings, he stabilized his position and evaluated his chest. In addition to minor cuts, he did not incur any substantial injuries. This approach is highly effective for enhancing my defensive skills. Dordoni's eyes widened. Even an Arrancar's Hierro is severed upon contact with my razor-sharp wind. What technique are you employing to safeguard your body, Nino? What accounts for the preservation of your clothing? My garments are distinctive. His shirt and jeans had remained unchanged since his arrival in this world, aside from being marked by his blood. He had utilized Reiatsu to cleanse the shirt repeatedly, yet its durability remained undeniable. I understand, Nino. After their unusual interaction, the two continued to engage in combat. Faced with the challenge of navigating through numerous cyclones, Naruto decided to deploy Sero rays from a safe distance. Dordoni, despite being battered and bruised, consistently countered Naruto's every attack. His wind cyclones were instrumental in maintaining distance and effectively neutralizing the Sero rays. Nevertheless, he was unable to maintain it indefinitely. Ultimately, his capacity diminished his Raryoku, leading to the deactivation of his Resurrection. Despite Dordoni's significant increase in Raryoku following his transformation into an Arrancar, he was unable to compete with Naruto's remarkable efficiency and extraordinary rate of Raryoku recovery. His endurance stood out among the Vasto Lord class, serving as the primary factor for his significant progress over the past month. Naruto displayed a confident smirk. We are now on equal footing. Dordoni grasped his katana, featuring a purple hilt, and executed a cross in the air. That is not accurate, Nino. Your spatial awareness could use improvement. It is challenging to differentiate between a feint and a legitimate attack. Your ability to conceal your intent leaves much to be desired. In summary, Ninu, your experience does not match that of a seasoned Arrancar like myself. Naruto's lips curved into a smile of amusement. My apologies for my youth. I would not opt to be a 1-month-old Vasto Lord if given the choice. A month? Is Nino just 1 month old? That is not feasible. The transition from a Jillian to an Ijukas typically spans several decades, unless you belong to that group. Innately occurring Vasto Lord. Indeed, I am one of those exceptions. It is not surprising that you were able to defeat Cheruchi. She was unlikely to compete effectively with someone of your capabilities. With a light-hearted laugh, Naruto generated a sonic boom, promptly positioning himself in front of Dordoni. The Arrancar swiftly aimed a strike at Naruto's neck with his damaged katana. Naruto extended his hand, grasping the blade firmly with his bare hands. The metal penetrated his palm but was unable to completely sever it. Blood flowed down in a deep red cascade. His regeneration attempted to mend his injury, however, the katana embedded in his palm rendered this impossible. He possessed the advantage of the pain resistance skill. Without it, he would have been reduced to a lamentable condition by the pain. Child, Naruto addressed Dordoni with a mischievous smile as a blue Reiatsu emanated from his injured hand. Bid farewell to your Zanpakuto. Prior to Dordoni seizing his Zanpakuto, Naruto engaged his aspect of death. A Zanpakuto of an Arrancar represents the hollow abilities they possessed prior to their transformation into an Arrancar. It also confined their hollow attribute, enabling them to achieve human-like emotions. It can be posited that an Arrancar's Zanpakuto may possess equal or potentially greater significance for a hollow compared to its relevance for a Shinigami. Despite the extraordinary capabilities of the Zanpakuto, the katana held in Naruto's hand remained a tangible object. Through the influence of oppression, he possessed the ability to manipulate any physical matter, provided he comprehended its nature or could exert immense Raryoku to force it. As Naruto firmed his hold on the katana, the blade fractured completely, breaking in half. Dordoni remained motionless, grasping the hilt firmly. Following a brief period of silence, he bowed his head. I ought to have exercised greater caution upon observing your interactions with Cheruchi. Dordoni succumbed to the challenges posed by his extensive experience. A true warrior would eliminate their adversary with unwavering resolve. That particular impulse resulted in the downfall of his Zanpakuto. I have been outmaneuvered. Your capability, your Reiatsu has the potential to modify the physical characteristics of any object it encounters. Indeed, I have rendered your Zanpakuto highly fragile. In the face of his defeat, Dordoni maintained a composed demeanor, throwing his head back and laughing heartily. Excellent performance, Nino. It is possible that the former king may encounter some difficulties. I sincerely hope that you do. It is essential for you to overcome my challenges before proceeding further. As long as I draw breath and my body is capable of movement, I will persist in my efforts. A soldier fulfills their duty, Nino. Dordoni, unwilling to concede even a minor victory to Naruto, advanced with precision, demonstrating his formidable combat skills through a relentless series of punches and kicks. With unwavering determination, Naruto skillfully deflected each of Dordoni's attacks, guaranteeing that none landed on him. After what appeared to be mere moments, Naruto identified an opportunity and delivered a decisive blow to Dordoni's face, sending him crashing toward the ground. He closed the distance to Dordoni with Sonito and executed a forceful kick that propelled him into a nearby mountain. Blood spilled from Dordoni's mouth as he struggled to breathe. In a swift movement, Naruto appeared next to the injured Dordoni, his hand firmly grasping the defeated warrior's hair. A subtle smile appeared at the corner of his lips. That was an impressive battle, he remarked, his voice reflecting a sense of respect. Kindly refrain from attempting to infringe upon anyone's freedom in the next life. It is one of the most detrimental actions one can take towards another individual, aside from more extreme scenarios such as subjecting them to Boku no Pico or an excessive number of episodes of One Piece. Dordoni coughed, a weak, raspy chuckle escaping his lips, flecked with blood. You have outperformed me, Nino. However, it is important to remain vigilant as Baragan draws near. Engage with me, Nino. Receive my Raryoku and enhance your strength. Naruto's eyes fixed intently on Dordoni, his mind in a flurry of thoughts. Despite residing in Hueco Mundo for a month, he had yet to partake in the consumption of Hollow's flesh, also known as soul. The immense power of Dordoni's Reiatsu was undeniably alluring. You compelled me to bring your life to an end, he whispered. What was your ultimate objective, Dordoni? What led you to feel such a profound sense of despair? Dordoni's killing intent lacked the authenticity exhibited by Cheruchi. She genuinely desired his demise while Dordoni feigned ill intentions towards him. He could have taken Mila Rose and Apache as hostages if he was truly intent on eliminating him. He embodied the qualities of honor and chivalry, reminiscent of a princess's ideal knight in shining armor. Sacrifice fosters. Dordoni extended their reach, striving for an object in the distance. Ensure that it serves a purpose, eliminate Baragan or face the consequences. Transform into a demon, Nino. Naruto halted and focused his attention on Dordoni. Dordoni's contribution to the narrative was significant. He educated Ichigo on the harsh realities of hollows through difficult decisions, ultimately sacrificing himself to provide Ichigo with precious time. His aspect of death must embody sacrifice, similar to Haribel. The realization struck Naruto, yet it was already too late. Dordoni's Zanpakuto was entirely destroyed, in stark contrast to Cheruchi, as his body was irreparably shattered. Even if he were to survive, he would not be able to reclaim his previous strength, much less exceed it. Naruto tightened his fists. That is unwise. I will eliminate Baragan to fulfill my own ambitions. There is no need for you to inform me of that, I would like to alleviate your distress. Through the application of oppression, he heightened Dordoni's heartbeat. Thud, thud, thud. Dordoni's heart succumbed to the strain and ultimately stopped operating completely. Despite the circumstances, Dordoni's eyes remained wide open, reflecting a profound sense of fear and terror, while a courageous smile appeared on his lips. That individual will certainly haunt my thoughts. Naruto carefully closed Dordoni's eyelids and exhaled with a sense of relief. It has concluded. For now, Haribel murmured as she gracefully descended beside him, taking his hand and offering a reassuring squeeze filled with warmth. Are you feeling fatigued? A small amount. Haribel guided Naruto away from Dordoni's motionless body and positioned him to sit at the entrance of a nearby cave. Baragan will continue to pursue us relentlessly. I will stand by your side, regardless of the circumstances, we will confront him together. Naruto would be elated if she hadn't expressed those words with such a gentle, nurturing gaze. Haribel. She regarded him, her eyes conveying a sense of joy. She appeared pleased that he came through the encounter with minimal harm. He refrained from disrupting her happiness with his inquiries. With a measured breath, he lifted his gaze to the nearby moon of Hueco Mundo. I appreciate your support, Harabel observed that he appeared to be preoccupied with a particular thought. She decided against pursuing the matter and directed her attention to his gaze, appreciating the solitary moon in the sky. You are my family, Naruto. Your presence, Apache, Mila Rose, and Sung Sun, inspires hope within me in this world. We, as Hollows, can achieve peaceful coexistence without compromising one another for personal interests. She envisioned transforming Hueco Mundo into a harmonious utopia. However, her capabilities were significantly insufficient to realize even a portion of her aspiration. Without the support of everyone, I would have lost hope. I am committed to safeguarding my family, even at the cost of my own life if necessary. Your situation is beyond repair, Harabel. He exhaled deeply and employed oppression to restore his body to its original condition. Relieved from the burden of excessive muscle tension, he rested his head on her lap. I will take some time to rest. He was too fatigued to engage in a dispute. She laughed softly and tenderly ran her fingers through his hair. Wishing you a restful night. In the quietude, she reflected on his statements. He was not entirely incorrect in labeling her as unsalvageable. All things in this world come with a cost. Her life was a negligible sacrifice for the security of her family. Ultimately, safeguarding an individual extends beyond mere survival assistance. It signifies providing them with a sense of belonging, providing an environment in which they can experience safety and freedom. Upon entering his sanctuary, Naruto encountered a remarkable sight. Mila Rose walked with a confident stride, her movements graceful and deliberate. The woman with dark skin halted suddenly in front of him, placing a hand on her hip. Naruto's gaze followed the intricate details of her form. The delicate hue of her skin, the subtle curve just above her navel, the defined muscles beneath, and the alluring silhouette between her legs. Her resurrection form provided her with an alluring armor, a feature absent in her standard Arrancar form. In addition to the three-sectioned crown adorning her head and her white necklace, her attire was minimal. Naruto declined with a shake of his head. I humbly seek your compassion. Please refrain from staring so impolitely, Skull. Mila Rose positioned one hand to shield her lower body while using the other to conceal her upper body, a look of disapproval evident on her face. Given your keen observations, please share your insights. This represents my standard, unreleased form. Do you consider it superior to my Ajuka's form? She pursued his endorsement, despite her confidence in her Arrancar form. It allowed her to accomplish considerably more with markedly reduced effort. Her combat skills had significantly exceeded her highest expectations. In my opinion, it has significantly improved. He removed his shirt and threw it in her direction. Please refrain from running around without clothing. My heart is unable to manage it. Before undergoing his hollow transformation, he possessed a remarkable muscular physique. His physique had significantly improved after a month of dedicated training, enabling him to walk with confidence in just his genes. Inappropriate behavior. Mila Rose smiled and inhaled the scent of his shirt, her nose crinkling slightly. There is a strong odor of blood. I appreciate it, thank you. Thank you for your assistance. She wore the shirt, providing coverage for her ample chest. The shirt provided adequate coverage for her most private area. Although she stood at an impressive height of 177 centimeters, she seemed diminutive next to him. He stood at an impressive height of 6 feet 4 inches, 192 centimeters. The variation in their heights enabled her to don his shirt as a makeshift dress, with the fabric elegantly cascading over her figure. With a precise motion of her wrist, she summoned a surge of Reiatsu, effectively cleansing the bloodstains from the fabric through her expert manipulation of Raryoku. Her resurrection did not grant her any unique abilities. Nonetheless, her transformation into an Arrancar enhanced her fundamental strength and Raryoku management. Apache exited her chamber within the cave, a mischievous sparkle in her eyes as she gently nudged Mila Rose with her horn. Please refrain from exhibiting narcissistic behavior. That is unfortunate. Please refrain from inappropriate behavior. Apache approached Naruto and gently leaned her head against his leg in a display of affection. You are secure. Certainly. He gently patted her head. An individual is confidently expressing affection today. Bastard came to get you and Harabel-sama away from us. He received what he deserved. Apache had no guilt for anyone who came to hurt her or those close to her. She could be more vicious than him in certain ways. Well done. Naruto and Mila rose, Sung-sun said as she snuck out of her hiding location. I propose we move before Baragan dispatches someone to investigate the missing errand car. Before that, Naruto turned to face Mila Rose. Share your experience, Rose. It will be useful because everyone here aspires to be an errand car. Am I correct? Hell yes. I told you I will be the strongest errand car. It doesn't hurt to gain more power in Hueco Mundo, especially after we made enemies with the God King. Apache and Sung-sun exchanged determined looks, their aims to achieve the errand car form fueled by their distinct but interwoven objectives. Harabel nodded carefully, acknowledging their desire for power. It's an excellent method to improve our strength, but we shouldn't be reckless. She was glad that there was a method to get stronger without swallowing another soul, even if it required performing a dance with death. Mila Rose smiled, with a trace of nostalgia in her eyes. I assumed you wouldn't inquire about it, Naruto. Well, it was painful, from what I recall. I was losing my mind until you pulled me out of it. She looked at him with a puzzled expression. How did you do that? I'm not sure, he said, giving a pathetic shrug. Perhaps our heart-to-heart before the battle helped me reach your soul. He offered a hazy explanation regarding his crumbling heart ability. Even if he informed them about the system, they would not grasp it. Oh, that, Mila Rose giggled shyly. In retrospect, it was a strange interaction. I apologize for misunderstanding you all this time. I apologize for that. Apache glanced at Mila Rose, his eyes wide with surprise. Has she just apologized? Is this a result of going through the process? Rose grew out of her immature phase, Sung-sun said softly, her eyes filled with compassion. You make me proud, girl. Mila Rose looked at the duo, her brow furrowing and her fist quivering. She was on the verge of slamming her fist into their heads. Good lord, I was in the wrong. Is it so horrible to apologize? No, Sung-sun focused her attention on Naruto. It looks that you played an important part in unlocking Mila Rose's errand car form. Is it conceivable that you have a skill that you are ignorant of? Perhaps another benefit of being a natural Vasto Lord. Harabel-sama, what do you think? Harabel's forehead furrowed with an idea. We cannot be certain. Just stay with Naruto if any of you decide to undergo the metamorphosis. Despite being present at the scene, she was unable to stop Mila Rose. If the others chose to smash their masks, she would be unable to intervene. Furthermore, Mila Rose's success would encourage them to complete the procedure as quickly as possible. She couldn't stop them from taking the risky route since she wanted to follow it and ascend through the ranks of Arrancar. I'll be next, Apache said, her eyes bright with resolve. Should I do it now? Naruto cradled Apache's dear head and softly rubbed her ears with his thumb. Wait for some time. Okay, Apache nodded, her voice full with expectation and understanding. Do not postpone it for too long. I need to get stronger. It sucks to see everyone quarrel without feeling like worthless garbage. Sung-sun laid her head against his shoulder. I agree with her sentiments. I don't want to stand by as Baragan sends more of them after us. Naruto grinned, sensing their determination, fueled by Mila Rose's change. Do not worry, I will not keep you waiting for long. He turned to face Harabel and cleared his throat. I have something essential to say. Aside from the ability described by Sung-sun, I have one that none of you are aware of. It was the ideal opportunity to share one of his most important secrets. His hollow buddies had won his trust. Naruto launched the system menu and accessed the race editor. Before their eyes, he chose his preferred race. A strange hole appeared in the center of his chest, resembling a hollow's hole. Azure liquid cascaded from the depths of this vacuum, eventually catching fire. Molten blue flames erupted, engulfing him in a blue flaming storm. A spherical, crystalline cocoon wrapped itself around him. Moments passed as the flames underwent a hypnotic change, becoming a brighter hue of violet. All four ladies held their breath, their chests tightening with suspense as they pondered what type of metamorphosis Naruto was going through and what would happen. The cocoon shattered, releasing glassy bits into the air. The flames withdrew into his chest, as if they were a sentient being returning to its source. Naruto appeared, seemingly unaltered, with the exception of his hollow mask and black wings. He has lost all vestiges of his hollow-esque appearance. The most major alteration evaded their vision, but the spiritually adept hollows could detect it with ease. How? Harabel questioned, her eyes shaking with horror. You did not do it like Mila Rose, and you no longer feel like a hollow. You feel like a human. Mila Rose gasped, her voice filled with disbelief. What the fuck? Why are you so handsome? Sung Sun fixed him with her keen, beady gaze, a predatory glimmer flashing inside them. What the fuck? To be honest, everyone could see a charming face hidden under Naruto's mask. However, he is a little older than I anticipated. Come on. Don't hold back. Why the hell can you do this? Apache nudged his leg, like she always does, but this time her horn sliced into his thigh like a hot knife through butter. Blood poured forth in a scarlet torrent, staining her once pristine white horn. Naruto grabbed her horn and shoved her back, grunting. Geez, don't poke around me in this state. I am weak as fuck. Miraculously, the wound healed before their eyes, as if time had reversed the harm, and the pain subsided. Sweet. I brought over regeneration in this form, he reflected, grateful for the unexpected benefit. Naruto was compelled to investigate his present situation, but the hollow lady's mounting impatience required his attention. Harabel's eyes virtually begged him to solve the mystery, while Mila Rose, Apache, and Sung Sun were disturbed by the magnitude of his metamorphosis. Harabel approached him from behind, her eyes lingering on the scars that had formerly scarred his skin but had vanished since he crossed races. A hollow turning human, impossible. It was widely known that dead souls transformed into hollows. A hollow attaining a human-like shape upon Arrancar transition was nothing compared to a hollow reverting to human. It broke convention on so many levels. The proof is before your eyes. Since when? From a while ago, actually. And I did not want to utilize it. Right now, we don't have an option. He surveyed their shocked expressions before folding his arms across his chest. We're relocating to the human world. Harabel digested his comments, her gaze serious as she glanced to the others for feedback. Not only is Hueco Mundo no longer safe, but the living world is also dangerous. Shinigami protect the planet against hollows like us. Harabel raised a valid point. Shinigami owned devices that could detect hollows in an area. I don't think it's a good idea either, Apache replied, her voice full of worry. She had lived in Hueco Mundo her entire life. The idea of leaving this world for enemy land did not sit well with her. As Harabel mentioned, Shinigami defend the human world. They will cleanse us to the hereafter with their Zanpakuto. Between hollows and Shinigami, Apache preferred to combat her own kind, which she was more accustomed with. Shinigami and Zanpakuto's skills horrified her. Mila Rose clutched her broadsword. I don't want to flee like a cowardly bitch. I will stand and fight. The Arrancar shape gave her a lot of confidence in her strength. Her confidence was fair, given that she nearly defeated one of the top Arrancars shortly after her metamorphosis. Naruto listened closely to their explanations before turning his focus to Sung Sun. Do you have any words of advice for me? Era, allow me to remain impartial this time. I'll support the side that wins this argument. He took a big breath. Sure, there are Shinigami in Living World, but it is a safer place than Hueco Mundo. Simply think about it. We narrowly escaped meeting two Arrancar. What would we do if the remainder of the group arrived alongside Baragan? We have no hope of making it out alive. Actual zero. He would have stayed in Hueco Mundo if all he cared about was himself. He might have escaped regardless of how many of Baragan's warriors came. However, he wasn't in a position to be selfish. While Mila Rose and Harabel fought hard against Arrancar warriors, Apache and Sung Sun lacked the strength to be of any service. If they were safe, he could concentrate on building strength in Soul Society and Hueco Mundo. He also needed to enhance his education in order to get greater power from his oppression. His counter-argument resulted in a wave of quiet. That said, I'm open to other options. He gave Mila Rose a long look. Besides engaging in a head-on fight with Baragan, Mila Rose avoided his eyes. Do not target me. I'm just offering the simplest solutions here. We shouldn't expect much from her musclehead brain. Sung Sun launched a nasty attack on Mila Rose's IQ. Please do not thank me for the compliments. I'm simply meeting my daily quota by roasting my favorite gal, Rose. He grinned at Sung Sun's playful mocking. Rose, they have a wide variety of clothing in the living world. I will buy you a ton. Mila Rose's eyes sparkled with excitement as her heart raced at the thought of new, shiny clothes. She swung her Zanpakuto and drove it into the ground with a loud thud, her hands confidently resting on its hilt. I'm on the same page as Naruto and Haribel-sama. How about we head out to the living world? Wow, that was quick. Apache shot back. This person switched sides just for some clothes. It seems like you're just going along with him because of the clothes. Sung Sun teasingly lifted Mila Rose's shirt with her graceful tail, revealing her most private area to everyone around. This kitten is super easy to read. Mila Rose pulled down her outfit and ran her fingers through her thick, wavy hair. What's going on, Snake? I'm sharing this so we can all make it through and grow stronger, away from Baragan's watchful eyes. Naruto's proposal makes sense. I'm going to have to back him up on this one. She kept her longing to explore the living world under wraps, wanting to dive into experiences that were off limits for a regular hollow. Those were just some extra perks of moving to the living world. Sung Sun let out a little laugh, her eyes sparkling with understanding. Sure. Apache, it seems like you're the only one standing against me now. Naruto crouched down and gently rubbed her ears. My tomboy sweetheart, being stubborn might cost you some affection points. Seriously, who even cares about your affection points? I never claimed they were mine. They might belong to Haribel as well. Quote. Apache bent down and tapped his knee with her hoof. You better promise to get me some new clothes when I turn into an errand car. Is that all? Absolutely. I'll grab some cute bikinis for us so we can throw our own little pool party. His offer felt really nice and genuine, so Apache just nodded without asking anything about bikinis. Since I've got the most votes, he started, his tone a bit more serious than usual. I'll take charge and go check things out. He took a moment, looking over at the darker section of the cave. Looks like our new guest is up. Tap, tap, tap. Footsteps echoed in the cave as their newest ally, Cheruchi, stepped out from the shadows, her long tail dragging behind her like a serpent. She was having a hard time finding any peace with all the chatter echoing in the cave, so she decided to step outside and meet her new teammates. Cheruchi's eyes went wide when she saw Naruto in his human form. No way, Naruto. So, how did you end up being human? That's just one of the things I can do. Naruto's unclear reply lingered as he shifted back into his hollow form. With a quick flick of his wrist, he ripped through the fabric of space using his Deskarer ability. The black fissure grew wider, looking like a hungry beast ready to devour everything, revealing an endless, dark emptiness. Naruto's face twisted with worry as he looked out at the endless stretch that linked all the realms in this world. What am I seeing here? Mila Rose gave his rib a gentle nudge, her voice carrying a hint of worry. Are you really thinking about going there? I haven't been there yet. Same here. Apache and Sung Sun admitted they didn't really know much about Garganta and the dangers that come with it. They never really wanted to check out the living world and deal with the anger of Saraiti's Shinigami. Naruto looked over at Haribel, the one who was the oldest and had the most wisdom in the group. Have you ever dealt with this before? Haribel shook her head, and her golden hair gently bounced with the motion. I can help guide you along the way. You're not going to get hurt like that. He quickly turned down her offer, picking up on her readiness to put herself on the line for what he believed in. She was such an admirable mother figure. It was one he just couldn't deal with right now. With no other option, Naruto approached the charming goth girl and softly placed his hands on her shoulders. Cheruchi didn't look as beautiful in her current battered state. Cheruchi, could you lend a hand to your friend? Cheruchi felt a chill run up her spine. His sweet, pleasing voice could easily be mistaken for the whispers of a demon. Ugh! Cheruchi muttered quietly, wishing she hadn't been so curious about their conversation while she was away. So, where are you thinking of heading? Being an errand car, She had visited the living world a bunch of times. Rather than telling a fib, she chose to lend him a hand. She needed to prove herself as a valuable ally, otherwise, he might see her as unnecessary and push her away. She just couldn't let that happen, no matter what. Her survival really depended on him, didn't it? Not knowing what she was going through, he replied, "The living world. Are you showing off your new look?" Cheruchi raised an eyebrow, her expression clearly showing doubt. "Can you give me a little time? I just don't have enough Raryoku to get there." Naruto closed the garganta and gave her shoulder a reassuring pat. "Take all the time you need to rest. Just give me a call when you're all set." Cheruchi left for her resting place without hesitating for even a moment. Mila Rose playfully wrapped her arm around his shoulder and pulled him into a fun headlock. "Haribel-sama, can I borrow him for a sec?" Mila Rose didn't wait for anyone to respond. She just pulled Naruto away from the group, her laughter bouncing off the cave walls. "I'm here to help. What do you need assistance with today?" As soon as Mila Rose walked out, the rest of them shared some curious looks, a blend of confusion and interest showing on their faces. Apache nudged Sung-sun with her horn, her eyes squinting as she pondered. "So, where did she take him? What do you think is going to happen? What are your thoughts?" Sung-sun replied, her voice playful and teasing. "Why don't you take a guess?" "I bet she'll ask him to fight," Apache said, remembering how eager Mila Rose was to swing her sword. "What do you think?" "It's definitely a possibility, especially with the musclehead Rose in the mix." But then, Sung-sun paused, her voice filled with suspense, piquing Haribel's interest. "Did you catch Mila Rose giving him those lingering glances? This private meeting could really help them connect on a deeper, more personal level." Sung-sun kind of believed what she was saying. She still managed to share her thoughts, stirring things up between Apache and Haribel, who appeared to be developing their own unique connections with Naruto. "That's just absurd. He wouldn't." Apache took a moment, her thoughts drifting back to how Naruto openly admired Mila Rose's new look. She clenched her jaw, and you could see the frustration in her eyes. Wow, good for them, I suppose. Sung-sun could sense what Apache really meant by her kindness. It's hard to fault him for being attracted to Mila Rose. She's incredibly beautiful and loyal, more than I can say. Sung-sun added oil to the flames of jealousy, expecting things to get wild and a bit entertaining. Apache gave a small nod and made her way back to her spot in the cave, a bit unsteady on her feet. "Do you know when Haribel-sama left?" They were so wrapped up in their chat that they missed Haribel sneaking out of the cave to follow Naruto and Mila Rose. Sung-sun glanced at the entrance of the cave. "Wow, this is really getting interesting. I'm here to help. What do you need assistance with today?" Apache really wanted to sleep after going all out with those Sero rays on Dordoni, but the storm inside her just wouldn't let her rest, leaving her tossing and turning all night. Naruto," she sighed, her voice thick with annoyance. "I met you first. I saved you. Why would you want to go to her?" It was like being a kid again, having your favorite toy taken away, and yet she just couldn't bring herself to blame anyone. It really wasn't her fault that Naruto started to pay less attention to her. Mila Rose and Haribel were the ones she held responsible in her mind. They had something she didn't, a quality that caught Naruto's attention and kept him hooked. A humanoid figure that resembles Naruto more closely. Apache buried her head in the soft sand, feeling frustrated. "I just can't. Why am I putting this on my friends?" She managed to pull herself back before her emotions could pull her down any deeper. As she got up from her cozy spot, she stepped out of the cave, hoping the fresh air would help clear her thoughts. The walk really did lift her spirits, clearing away all that negativity. While she was wandering, a shadow darted across her path. As she lifted her head, she noticed a group of Jillians moving together in a strange, almost haunting way, their smooth movements giving her chills. Interestingly, they didn't see her as prey, almost like there was something more important than a strong Ajukas going on. Curious, she took off after them and quickly found out what had them so eager, a fresh Arrancar corpse packed with Reiatsu. Looks like some thieves are swiping Naruto's game. Can you believe they did that? With a determined look, she stepped forward, her Reiatsu pushing to its limits, though it wasn't much after using everything on Sero. She just couldn't match the combined Reiatsu of a dozen strange Manos Grande. You need to leave, like, right now. The Jillians surrounded themselves with their own Reiatsu, pushing back against Apache's sharp energy. One by one, they turned their heads to look at her, their long noses aimed at her like swords. They let out some really harsh screeches as they moved toward Apache, their huge figures looming over her much smaller, deer form. With determination, Apache fired a small Sero from the tip of her horn. Please don't make me do something I really don't want to. The Jillians responded by opening their mouths wide, creating a Sero that was much larger than Apache's. Still, she wouldn't give in. She just couldn't let those pesky Jillians take away Naruto's well-deserved prize. This specific corpse, an Aaronkar, was the only opportunity to boost Naruto's strength from all the hollows they had come across. She'd go all out to make sure it stays right here. Alright, I guess I'll take you all out. With a mix of passion and a bit of recklessness, Apache threw herself at the dozen Jillians, even though her Raryoku was only at a quarter of its max capacity. Mila Rose stopped a short distance from the cave entrance and met Naruto's gaze. Surprised by her intense stare, Naruto let out a dramatic gasp. Wow, that's quite aggressive. So, have you experienced heat since your transformation? Am I going to be pushed down and violated in that Amazonian position? I won't let myself be treated like that. Mila Rose rolled her eyes and scoffed. Amazonian position what? Come on. Just cut out the nonsense, alright. He instinctively put a hand over his backside, shivering a bit. You can't go there. If you keep pushing me, I'm not going to back down without a fight. It's not really about my fetish or how I feel about you. It's all about my honor as a guy. Mila Rose giggled at his dramatization and grabbed his shoulders. Throw your manliness down the drain. I did not bring you here to mate or do whatever nasty things you had in mind. Besides, what's the point of two hollows mating? We can't have babies, as far as I know. She found no logical justification for hollows to participate in reproductive behavior. Ahem, sex is an act of pleasure, I think. He reverted to his naive, innocent attitude and assumed a thoughtful expression brimming with wonder. I believe sex feels good. Mila Rose wrinkled her brow in uncertainty. Did you remember some significant memory? Mila Rose imagined Naruto having a gorgeous mate if he was that handsome in his human form. He must be reliving recollections from his prior existence. HMPH, I'm far better than anyone he's ever had. A horrible, jealous yearning overcame her, forcing her to destroy everybody who had been close to Naruto. Why does that matter? He said, lost in contemplation. I am a nasty, murderous hollow now, just like you. That is true. She jokingly punched his chest. How did you come to learn about mating? How do you know about mating? I was born with the memories, Mila Rose reflected, her fingers stroking her chin as she dug into her subconscious. Or I heard it from my hollow tribe. Yes, that's it. Someone related a rumor of a hollow tribe living in the deepest darkness of the abyss. According to tradition, all hollows belong to the same species and participate in mating rituals to produce more of their kind. Naruto's eyes sparked with realization. Ulquiorra might be born in such a tribe, surrounded by hollows of a certain kind. That was how he saw Ulquiorra's narrative going. You said that hollows cannot have kids. But now you're talking about a hollow tribe capable of reproducing. What are you trying to say, Rose? Mila Rose widened her eyes. I never thought about it before. Naruto smiled slyly and extended his arms, enticing her. Well then, shall we attempt to create some offspring of our own? Absolutely not. Mila Rose shivered at the prospect of having babies. Even if I am capable of it, I will not have a baby. Not ever. He mockingly laughed at her decision. Why not? Mila Rose stretched her arms. Look around us. We are just squeaking by here. Our child will only suffer if we bring him into this hellhole. You want a better place for our child. He raised an eyebrow. Let us wait till I slay Baragan. That should make Hueco Mundo more peaceful. He was in no haste to start a relationship. After all, he would miss out on the rest of the group if he became too involved in a relationship with Mila Rose and the others gave up. He had to seduce each and every one of them and introduce them to the lovely world of romance and sexuality. A difficult, yet equally gratifying endeavor. Mila Rose hesitantly nodded and widened her eyes. Wait, why am I talking about having babies with you? Fuck, run after me. We have something important to discuss. Without waiting for an answer, she vaulted smoothly over the hill and dashed to the next one. He chuckled and followed her, using his sonido to keep up with her antics. Together, they rushed over the stark white plain, crossing kilometers in minutes before coming to a standstill near a precipice. She chuckled with complete joy on her face. Tell me, that was fun, wasn't it? Naruto gazed at her, unimpressed. What do you want to do here? This spot is quite lovely for sitting and relaxing. She sat down on the cliff's edge, her legs dangling over the side. She patted the spot next to her. Join me, Skull. Mila Rose had gone to great pains to keep this talk concealed from everyone, especially Sung Sun, who would never let her forget it. Mila Rose, as accomplished as she was in combat, couldn't outsmart Sung Sun, Naruto, or even Apache in a verbal battle. Her sole hope of triumph rested in a verbal battle with the soft-spoken Haribel, something that had never happened before. Naruto sat silently beside her. She definitely had something on her mind, but instead of saying anything, she whistled, swinging her legs back and forth like a joyous child. La 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 la. Can you try stating your point before I die of old age? Mila Rose cleared her throat and gazed at him, her emerald eyes reflecting the nasty skull mask. Skull. Yes, I love you if you are considering admitting to me. Let us fly to church and exchange rings. Please be serious once, it's about my transformation. Mila began slowly, her voice thick with emotion, and her heart rate accelerated. Everyone's Reiatsu was shifting dramatically when it happened. But you didn't demonstrate any change. Why was that? His apparent indifference to her life or death situation made her uneasy. Despite their previous disagreements, she had anticipated that he would express concern after they had sorted their differences. She was prepared to risk her life to defend him and Haribel. In response, there was only a slight issue. Naruto leaned his head back, his gaze drawn to the glittering moon overhead. I had unwavering faith that you would succeed. Mila Rose had no clue he had known her since before their initial meeting in Hueco Mundo, or that he had recognized her potential as an Arrancar from the beginning. She felt her cheeks getting heated. Where the hell did that trust come from? He chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Could you describe every feeling and idea that runs through your mind? No, correct. Some things just exist without explanation, perhaps for reasons we cannot comprehend. Oh, he leaned forward and softly cradled her chin with his hand. In an instant, his disguise disappeared, revealing his true body underneath. The instantaneous metamorphosis occurred at his command. After a lengthy first time, he was able to flip between the two races without even opening the race editor. Rose. Why yeah, their near closeness and his beautiful, whispery voice muddled her thoughts, leading her to stutter. Instead of questioning me, shouldn't you reward me for helping you? Yeah, you're right, so let me, he whispered, coming closer until their lips were only a hair's breadth away. Embrace you. Mila Rose closed her eyes and let herself get caught up in the intensity of the moment. Their breath mixed as their lips locked in a lovely, innocent kiss. Crackle. A strong spike in Reiatsu ended the kiss prematurely. Mila Rose came to her wits and shoved his face away from her. What the hell was I doing? She kissed Naruto, a dirty behavior she never imagined herself performing with anybody, let alone a guy. Naruto did not focus on Mila Rose's suffering. Instead, he swept his Reiatsu throughout the surroundings, looking for the terrible yet familiar figure that had disrupted their moment. He discovered the source of the familiar Reiatsu, which was well hidden and imperceptible to people who did not look hard. He looked over his shoulder. Haribel, you can come out. Haribel-sama is here. Haribel came out from behind a boulder and approached them. She pushed herself between Mila Rose and Naruto, pulling her away from him. You called. She pretended she wasn't spying and peeking at them from a covert location. Her calm and cool demeanor worked in her advantage this time. Mila Rose merely gazed at Haribel, stunned. Haribel-sama. Despite her annoyance of Haribel's intervention, she admired her commander too much to investigate her strange behavior. Haribel sighed. I am sorry, Mila rose. I needed to check up on him. I did not want you to get in a fight. Naruto would be foolish to believe Haribel's statements at face value. She may be spying on Hiruzen, for all he knew. I will not fight Rose. We were set to start a new era in our lovey-dovey relationship. Haribel reacted with surprise. I see. I wasn't watching you. Oi, Skull, stop spreading falsehoods. Who the hell wants to? Naruto leaned back and winked at Mila Rose. You let me kiss you. That's a fact you can't deny. You are horribly twisting the facts. Mila sprang to her feet, pointing her sword at him. I did not stop you since you stated something about rewarding yourself. Yes, that's it. Think of it only as a reward. She was too humiliated to admit she was drawn to Naruto, knowing that the threat Sung-sun would tear her apart with mocking. Haribel closed her eyes and chuckled, enjoying the sight of her children playing instead of fighting. It was one of the few occasions she had appeared so alive. Naruto, I need a favor from you. Naruto halted to stare into her eyes. Despite his profound awareness of her personality, he could never predict the ideas that ran through her head. Sure. Haribel bowed her head, her eyes full of earnestness. Can you? All three of them instantly turned their heads in the same direction. A familiar Reiatsu flared out in the distance, as if it were prepared to attack. Naruto instantly changed into his hollow form. Standing up and unfolding his wings, he gave a stern expression. Apache's in trouble, I am going ahead. With a blast of Sonido, he gained velocity and flew through the air, leaving Mila Rose and Haribel behind as he rushed to the source of the noise. Naruto found himself in the haunted battleground, where he silenced Dordoni forever. An army of enormous Jillians blasted torrential Sero rays, turning the lonely countryside a bright scarlet. A blood-soaked Apache evaded each fatal beam with agility and resolve, lunging for a towering Manos Grande with all her might. Despite her full-power headbutt, the giant remained unaffected. The Manos Grande lifted its massive hands from its murky robe and hit Apache with a powerful blow. She was hurled against a neighboring mountain, shattering boulders tumbling over her crushed body. Apache, exhausted, hurt, and depleted of Raryoku, couldn't even defend against Jillian's strike. She fought to her feet with shaky legs, only to collapse again. And not yet. Damn it. Where are the others? I'm here. Naruto arrived at her side, holding her face and administering some Raryoku to her. Just relax. I will take care of them. She gazed at him, her eyes full with emotion. Why you are so late? Naruto nodded seriously as his attention shifted to the frightening Jillians. His Reiatsu pressed down on them, causing them to tremble. With a quick movement of his palm, he released oppression, converting the animals to ugly bits of flesh. Did they come for Dordoni's body? I didn't let them touch it. She appeared proud of putting her life at peril for a corpse. I'm glad you're not dead. He leaned his chin on her hollow mask and used his Reiatsu to cleanse her blood. Her tail wiggled sweetly even as she refused to look at him. There, you are all clean now. Sung-sun approached the duo as Naruto completed washing Apache, while Haribel and Mila inspected Apache's condition from a distance before returning to base. Sung-sun threw a glance to the mangled remnants of the Jillians, then nudged Naruto with her tail. Era, am I interrupting your cuddle time? Apache gave Sung-sun a glare. I'm now out of Raryoku. Naruto is helping me tidy. After becoming an Arrancar, I'd also like to use Naruto's cleaning services. They'll be free for a buddy, right? Absolutely free. You may invite another buddy if you choose. What a kind dude. I'd bring my old pal Rose then. She'll appreciate your help. After some playful flirtation, Sung-sun left Naruto alone with Apache. It was for the best, since he needed to speak with her discreetly, away from inquisitive eyes. Apache, I care about you more than the dead over there. I'd feel really sorry if you become a corpse while defending one. You know, I can find Arrancar's corpse in Las Noches, but not another Apache. His sweet words had the desired impact, causing Apache to look at him silently, moved by his sentiment. Oh, of course. There is only one Apache in the world, but there are hundreds of Mila Roses. You will not find me anywhere. He grinned at her, growing jealously, or even jealousy, for Mila Rose. He tugged lightly on her ears, causing her to grimace in agony. That's why you should stop risking your life for nonsensical reasons. It's not nonsensical. How is it not? You may have addressed me as Sung-sun or perhaps Cheruchi. Fighting them in your state was very irresponsible. You may have perished if I hadn't made it in time. His loud voice stood in stark contrast to his typically sweet, honeyed tone. Apache felt like time had stopped. She had waited for a recompense for fighting an impossible struggle for him. Yet here he was, chastising her for her irresponsibility. For the first time, Apache felt the pain of frigid betrayal. Naruto moaned and lightly caressed her horn. Look, I'm sorry for being so harsh and controlling, but I will do everything I can to protect you and others. He motioned Apache towards Dordoni's corpse. You can eat him. Apache understood his logic, but it did not alleviate her bitterness. No, you eat him to boost your Raryoku abilities. It will be advantageous to you. You might break into Vasto Lord if you eat him. His tempting remarks caused her to pause and reflect, diverting her from his prior reprimand. Vasto Lord, Apache murmured. Will I have a body like Harabel as a Vasto Lord? Envy poured from every word as she pictured herself as Harabel or, more likely, Mila Rose. Most likely. Don't hesitate. You endangered your life to keep it safe. It's yours now. Apache shook her head as she looked at Dordoni. It is more difficult for you to gain strength than for me. I can eat any random hollow and get a small boost. She was being unselfish for once, hoping that he would see her concern behind her modest sacrifice and cease being so harsh. She only wanted him to be the easygoing, light-hearted Naruto. Naruto smiled. Geez, don't stare at me. I know I'm attractive and you adore me, but please take on a human shape before we go any farther. Who loves you, Skullhead? Apache groaned as she dropped her head, her heart hammering against her chest. Leave me alone. Well, eat to your heart's content, my adorable dear. He left Apache alone to enjoy her supper. She could achieve Vasto Lord rank, or come close to it. More importantly, it will speed up the healing of her wounds and restore the lost Raryoku. Apache went back into the murky cave, the weight of worry pushing on her. Her gloominess was justified. She had consumed every part of Dordoni, absorbing his flesh to strengthen her Raryoku. Despite her efforts, the Vasto Lord class remained a faraway dream. A place far beyond her reach. Should I break my mask? She wondered, knowing the surge of power that such a simple act might cause. However, she was also aware that immense strength entailed considerable peril. She had been lured to the potential since witnessing Mila Rose's awe-inspiring strength. I promised Naruto patience, but also to become the strongest Arrancar. While eager to keep her pledge, she had no option but to slow down. Her gaze fell on Naruto, who was curled against Cyan Sung-sun's massive serpent body. Sung-sun's scaled tail hung over him like a protective shield, but he appeared to find comfort in its embrace, resting sweetly beneath it as if it were a patchwork blanket. One might say he was having a great time surrounded by adorable creatures. How can he sleep with her after making that agreement with me? Did he entice her into a deal? She was consumed by jealousy. Sung-sun raised her head and snarled. The deer proudly returns after consuming the eagle. However, the deer's expression showed no evidence of satisfaction. Are these the warning indications of a calamity to come? Apache snarled at Sung-sun's superfluous comments on her behavior. Fuck happiness. Naruto sat up and gestured for Apache to join him. Come here. She complied by sliding down and putting her head on his legs, using his thighs as a cushion. It's my turn to use you. Use my body as much as you want, he said, a soft grin on his lips. My dear, what's weighing on your heart? Naruto could feel the tempest raging inside her, as well as her desperate need for power to fill the gap in her soul. Sung-sun's thoughts regarding the catastrophe were not wholly off the mark. Apache may probably do something risky in her drive for power. Her hollow hole was more than a symbol of her desire for sheer power. Apache gritted her teeth. I'm upset with myself. I want to be powerful and kick Baragan's ass alongside you. However, with my current power, I cannot compete with Arankar. This irritates me tremendously. Naruto listened closely to her passionate scream, softly caressing her head. Almost unconsciously, she sank into his delicate touch, finding solace in his caress. Then stop dwelling on it, Sung-sun urged, her voice cool and controlled. Only idiots focus entirely on outperforming their opponent's strength. Why not attempt to outsmart your opponent instead? Like Naruto's strategy for the living world. Running away to a faraway place isn't a smart strategy. Then fighting your opponent against stacked odds is smart. Sung-sun sneered. Do not make me laugh, Apache. I want to fight everyone just as much as you do. You must acquire patience, or you will become someone's meal. Apache's jaws gritted with fury. She had been employing the flight and hide approach for many years. However, at the moment, she couldn't shake the want to obtain more power, as if her appetite had grown since swallowing Dordoni. Slow it down, ladies, Naruto interrupted, seeking to ease the tension between Apache and Sung-sun. Apache, please. Apache sighed resignedly and put her head on his leg again. I apologize, Sung-sun. I should not have acted mean. Friends don't need to apologize to one another. If you actually want to show your thanks, vow not to die before me. There is nothing more heartbreaking than losing a friend. A heavy quiet fell over the gathering as Sung-sun's remarks, laced with sadness, hung in the air. No one expected such sensitivity from the usually sharp-tongued and caustic Sung-sun. However, she had been preaching the value of survival to Naruto for quite some time. He gently stroked his fingertips across her scales. I promise to keep everyone alive, even our watcher kitten out there. For the last time, stop calling me kitten. Mila Rose's shout made everyone chuckle. Harabelle, who was sitting peacefully in a corner, cast a kind look at the three. She closed her eyes again, returning to the warm and chilly embrace of her nightmares. Naruto, I've been intrigued. How do you think an Ijukas becomes Vasto Lord? I am not sure, but it has something to do with raising our Raryoku level and subduing our wild instincts. Subduing our wild instincts, Apache murmured. I'm not following your statements here. And how come you recall so much despite your amnesia? They are like instincts. Harabelle, do you remember how you became Vasto Lord? Apache cast a peek in Harabelle's way. The bronze-skinned Vasto Lord reclined against the cave, recalling distant recollections. I don't remember. Sung-sun drew close to his ears. Haribel-sama halted. That suggests she's lying. He raised an eyebrow. Hello, Harabelle. Sung-sun stated you were lying. Traitor. Sung-sun replied. You sold me out. I trusted you. Never trust a guy wearing a skull mask, he said with a grin. Besides, it's a small price to learn more about our caring leader. You act more like a leader than Harabelle, Apache said under her breath. Cocky skull demon. Harabelle wordlessly gazed at everyone, studying and calculating something with little emotion in her eyes. Naruto turned to his human form and smiled, feigning innocence and cheerfulness one would expect from a child. Harabelle, it's fine if you don't want to share your story, I'll bring it up when I do something to truly earn your trust. Sometimes life leaves you with no choice but to gaslight your crush into revealing the truth. Harabelle melted seeing his hurt expression. There was simply no way for her to resist spoiling him. It's nothing special. Are you really thinking about spending time on this? Naruto's face lit up. I'm just hanging out until Cheruchi gets better. Why not go ahead and listen to your bedtime story? You know, most Vasto Lord I've come across turned into what they are by devouring countless souls, but that's not my story. My change came when I witnessed mindless violence and bloodshed. As she traced her sword arm on the wall, she uncovered a secret that no one had ever known. A village of regular hollows was destroyed by one ruthless Vasto Lord. I watched as a demon with 4 sword arms took down the hollows right in front of me. I just couldn't find the strength to stop the demon. I was determined to take him down, even if it meant I had to fight to the very end. My unstoppable anger turned into the driving force behind my growth. Naruto's thoughts buzzed as he caught a hint of familiarity in Harabelle's story. What do you think the chances are that it's Neutra? Even though some hollows might look alike, running into a Vasto Lord with 4 arms is pretty much a rare find. She turned into Vasto Lord because of sacrifice, he said softly. It looked like Harabelle's evolution was really tied to her willingness to sacrifice, her aspect of death. Indulging in the aspect of death and trying to fill that hollow heart could be the secret to leveling up from Ijukas to Vasto Lord. So, did you actually kill him or what? Harabelle just shook her head. Just when I was about to land a solid hit, it mustered up the last of its energy to make a run for it. I haven't come across it since then. So, the demon is still out there causing trouble for the hollows. Apache exclaimed in disbelief. Naruto, you really need to take that guy down. Don't let it get away. I won't let you down, madam. I'm not the strongest out there, but I can definitely adjust my body to soar faster than a jet. Harabelle gave a nod. That coward picks on weak hollows. He's not going to stand a chance against you. As the group relaxed into a cozy silence, Naruto decided to check in on his status. Here's some general information for you. So, the name is Naruto Uzumaki. Male, race, human, Raryoku level, grade level captain class. Alignment, neutral evil, no affiliation. I'm here to help. What do you need assistance with today? Racial abilities, none. Natural talents, silvery voice. Crumbling heart, human, you can stroll freely on any surface without a care. Regeneration, pain resistance, gained skills. Seduction is all about the knack for charming those of the opposite gender. Mastery level, basic. Riding means you can hop on a mount and go for a ride. Intermediate mastery level, arithmetic is all about being able to handle those math problems. Intermediate level of mastery, provocation is all about using your words to get under people's skin. Mastery level, basic. His crumbling heart ability had evolved with his race. It went from being a way to help out allies to just being a pretty disappointing skill that only served itself. He could whip up Raryoku platforms to soar off to any place he wanted. What's the deal with this natural ability? We can't have all the good things, can we? Looks like Cheruchi's going to be out of commission for a bit. Should I train while I'm in my human form? He brushed the idea aside. The only way for his human race to evolve was by becoming a Quincy. Normal Quincy's weapons and techniques were pretty average. Shrift. The most incredible power of the Quincy race was sealed away by Yuwatch, the father of Quincy's. Blood is super handy. I'm going to concentrate on my hollow powers first. Who knows if I can unlock a form that's even beyond Vasto Lord. He was already deep into his hollow evolution. He could end up training for years just to match the power of human and Shinigami forms. Those would just be side quests when you think about the main focus of his hollow form. He really wasn't feeling too sure about mastering Bankai in just 10 days, like Ichigo did. Taking on a captain class without using Bankai would definitely be challenging. Hollow comes first, then Shinigami, and Quincy takes the last spot. As he stepped out of his cave, he spotted Mila Rose sitting on top of a mountain. She carefully looked around to see if there were any threats coming their way. He flew above her and playfully tossed a little Raryoku orb at her head. My adorable little furball. Mila Rose let out a snarl, which made him chuckle. He took off quickly, with an annoyed Mila Rose right on his tail. As he touched down, he turned to look at her. Do you want to train? Mila Rose's grumpy face turned into one full of excitement. With a swift motion, she tossed aside her shirt and stood poised like a predator, ready to leap at her target. Dordoni's nonsense really held me back from showing what I could do. Devour. Leona. Gold Lioness General. She unleashed her Resurrection form with a wave of Reiatsu. It was just as strikingly wild and alluring as he recalled. She fixed her green eyes on him. Naruto, I'm on my way. Just make sure you don't end up as a flat corpse. Dordoni really didn't give her a fair chance to show off her skills. Naruto turned out to be the perfect match for her to really show what she's made of. He strengthened his arms with oppression and unleashed his Raryoku to boost his defenses with Reiatsu. Mila Rose quickly closed the distance and swung her broadsword with precision. Get wrecked, my friend. He tilted his head just in time to dodge the huge swing of her blade and then brought his knee up toward her belly. He made her confront him in a spot where using her weapon was tricky. She quickly brought her knee up to block his strike and then threw a fierce elbow aimed right at his face. He smoothly dodged her attack, slipped an arm between her legs, and lifted her onto his shoulder with unexpected ease. Mila Rose squirmed on his shoulders, hitting the hilt of her weapon against his ribs and jabbing him with her knees. "What on earth are you up to?" Wincing from the pain, he managed to grab the back of her neck and tossed her up into the air. She hit the ground hard, sending clouds of white sand flying everywhere. She was laid to rest just a few inches beneath the Hueco Mundo. "You jerk." She jumped out, really angry about being thrown around like a sack of potatoes. "You're really something else. How could you treat a woman that way? In love and war, anything goes. I tackle every fight like it's a full-on war, and I just want you to know that I love you too. Everything I do here is fair." Mila Rose looked at him, completely taken aback. "Do you really love me? When did that even happen?" Other than their kiss and a few moments together, their relationship was more like that of acquaintances and friends, leaning more towards friendship after that kiss. Hearing him suddenly confess his love really caught her off guard. He charged at her, fist raised. She deflected his punch with her broadsword and shoved him back. "Let's prioritize training first. Stay focused. Can you please not ignore my question? What on earth did I do to deserve your love? I'm not sure. Less than text T, you being attractive could be a factor in this. So, you're really just interested in my body, huh?" Mila Rose's expression shifted, showing that she really disliked the idea of being seen just for her body. Golden Reiatsu crackled around her while a tidal wave of murderous intent rushed toward Naruto. "All guys are pretty much alike. I really thought you were someone special. Ultimately, you're just like everyone else." He definitely thought he could change her feelings about men in just one chat, but that was a bit off the mark. It's going to take a while to change her way of thinking. Before he could clear things up, Mila Rose lunged at him like a lioness, swiping at his chest. Her attacks were deadly, designed to take lives. He wrapped his hand in Reiatsu and grabbed her Zanpakuto with just his bare hands. Her Reiatsu cut into his skin like a hot knife through butter, yet her blade couldn't break through his flesh. Seeing his blood really cooled her impulsive anger. She pulled back her Zanpakuto, her eyes locked on his quickly mending wound. Even though she felt bad about hurting Naruto, he saw things differently. "If my hollow mask gets broken, will it regenerate?" He thought he'd give the theory a shot later on. "Rose, I didn't mean it like that. Don't go thinking about hurting your guy over a mix-up, okay?" "What did you mean by that? You overlooked the might part. Your body is just one piece of what makes up my love for you. I'm still working on figuring out the other part." He wasn't head over heels for her yet, but he definitely thought she was amazing. Mila Rose let out a sigh, her shoulders drooping a bit. She ran her fingers through her hair, wishing her hasty words hadn't hurt him. "Something clicked in my mind when you mentioned that, my bad. You really hurt me. It really felt like emotional damage." "Oh really?" She dropped her Zanpakuto to the ground and wrapped her arms around his waist, almost like she was trying to squeeze him in a tight hug. "Forgive me, or I might just have to give you a bear hug that you won't forget." "Hold on a second. It's beginning to hurt." He didn't work on strengthening his waist with oppression. Instead, he concentrated on his limbs to boost his explosiveness. Mila Rose's hug really wrapped around him tightly. "Just say the words already." "Sure thing. No worries, I forgive you." "Cut it out." Mila Rose chuckled and gave a little squeeze before lifting him off the ground and spinning him around playfully. After a dozen dizzying spins, she finally set him down and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You big brute." She kept on laughing. "Wow, Naruto, I'm not against what we've got going on right now. Alright, let's take down Baragan first and then we can figure out the rest of this stuff. I'm really looking to concentrate on my training and get stronger." "Got it." She took a step back and put her hands on her hips, making sure everyone noticed her abs. "So what I'm trying to say is, you say you love me and can't imagine life without me, but Baragan is such a pain and won't let you rest easy. Alright, let's make sure we take care of him first." You've got nothing. Naruto let out a laugh as he sidestepped a swing from a broadsword. They kept on training, diving into an intense, heart-pounding battle. He was having a tough time dealing with her powerful hits. She showed way more brute strength and agility compared to her fight with Dordoni. Was she stronger now, just a few hours later, or had she been holding back in her last fight? It had to be the first option, since she was still getting used to her new Arankar form. Was she always this strong in the story? I can't believe it. Mila Rose had so much fun swinging her sword everywhere. She battled him as much as she wanted until her Raryoku just couldn't keep up with her release form anymore. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. I'm thrilled you watched the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe for even more exciting content coming your way soon.